What's up, H2O Army? Justin from H2O Plants, and today we're going to be talking about how you balance your aquarium. Stay tuned. So there are two key factors when balancing an aquarium. One is patience, and two is research. To know that you have an unbalanced aquarium is quite simple. You have algae. Algae is a sign that you, as an aquarist, don't have a balanced tank. That's not a bad thing, right? Algae is only really bad if it's killing your plants. Like if it's completely out-competing your plants, drowning them, not letting them get enough light or absorb nutrients or whatever the case is, and your plants are dying because they're filled with algae. That's the only bad time that I would really be concerned about algae. If you see a little bit of algae, odds are the problem's easily dealt with, and don't freak out. Tons of people freak out, oh my god, I have a little piece of algae. No. Take a chill pill, relax. Okay, so what do you do first? Well, you do your research. You figure out what type of algae you have. Do you have black beard algae? Do you have green spot algae? Do you have green hair algae? Brown slime algae? Staghorn algae? Whatever the case is, figure out what type of algae you have. Secondly, normally where you find that type of algae, they're going to list the causes. Either you have too much light, not enough light, too much nutrients, not enough nutrients. Either you're running too much CO2 or you don't have any CO2, and that's a problem. So, whatever your cause is, what you want to do is take it slow. Adjust one thing at a time. And tons of people, I see it all the time, black out your tank, shut off your lights, don't put them on for 6 days. Don't do that. You want to focus on growing the plants, but minimalizing what algae has to reproduce and grow with. So, by turning off your lights and keeping them off for 7 days, you're only hurting yourself and hurting your plants, and you're shocking your system. When you shut off your lights, all of a sudden, you just keep them off, your plants were used to a photoperiod. They need that photoperiod to live, and you just cut off their life support, so they're going to die. What happens when plants die? They're going to release nitrates and ammonia and other nutrient compounds that algae needs to thrive. And algae doesn't need much light to grow. So if you stop your light, your plants are going to start breaking down, dying off, and the algae is just going to start growing faster and faster and faster because now there's nothing competing against it to absorb the nutrients, and it has full reign over it. So don't kill your lights off like that. Don't stop doing whatever you're doing. It's about making small adjustments. So you have some algae. First things first, do you have your lights on a timer? If you have your lights on a timer, good. What are they set at? If they're set at 10 hours or more, odds are you have too much light. That goes with really whatever kind of algae you have. If you're running 12 hours a day and you have algae, odds are it's your light. So what do? Set your timer to 8 hours. Not a big jump, but enough to make it, a little less and allow the plants and algae to kind of balance themselves out. So you lower it to 8 hours, and let's say it fixes everything. Great. So you knew what the problem was. It was your lights. But let's say it didn't fix it. Where do you go to next? Second most common issue of algae, excess nutrients. That comes from overfeeding, over-fertilizing, or just not doing enough water changes. So what do? How often are you feeding your fish? 3 times a day? More than they can eat? Let's cut that down to once a day, just enough what they can eat in a minute or so. Believe me, your fish are not going to starve to death if you only feed them once a day. I can go 3 or 4 days without feeding my fish, and they're perfectly fine. Unless you're trying to really get like a massive fat fish for whatever reason. If it's a showfish or something, granted, yes, it's good to feed them every day, but if you have a serious algae problem, cut down on the feeding. They'll be fine once a day and like less than what you're used to feeding them. So if that solved the issue, so let's say 2 weeks go by and the algae's starting to die off and you don't see it spreading as much, great. So we knew it was overfeeding. So what do? Continue feeding the way you're feeding now. Maybe adjust it a little bit, adding a little extra to see what you could get away with. But the moment that algae starts showing up again, cut back your feeding again, back to where it was when you didn't have algae. Lastly, if you have algae and you're running CO2, and this is primarily black beard algae, or green hair algae I've personally experienced from either excess CO2 or fluctuating CO2 levels. Sometimes raising it up or lowering it is the solution. So increasing your bubbles per second or decreasing your bubbles per second. And tons of people ask me, what do you keep your CO2 at? That is all going to depend on your plant load, your tank size, and what type of plants you have. If you have a lot of Anubis, they're not going to use the CO2 the way that really fast-growing stem plants are going to use. Slow-growing plants absorb nutrients and CO2 and all that slower than fast-growing water wisteria, water sprite, Ludwigia. All those grow tremendously faster. So CO2 adjust, but you're making these minor adjustments over time. So you're going to adjust your lights. You're going to wait a week, wait 2 weeks, wait 3 weeks. If you start seeing the algae get out of control, manually remove it. You could either pick it off with your hands, use a toothbrush to twirl around. That also works with some string type algae. You could use hydrogen peroxide on a blackbeard algae. I'll go into that on another video. And there's other ways. You could also get algae eating fish, but that's putting a band-aid on a long-term problem. It's not going to fix it. You need to figure out how to balance your tank. So we went over lighting. We went over nutrients. We went over CO2. Those are the primary 3 causes of algae. There might be other underlying issues in your tank, but odds are those 3 metrics will determine if you have algae in your tank, and adjusting them appropriately is key. So do it slowly, minor adjustments over time, change one thing at a time. If you're going to change your lighting, stick to your lighting. Figure out if it's the lighting. After a month or 2, if the algae is still there, it's not the lighting anymore. Try something else. Okay guys, I hope this all made sense. I hope that you are now able to balance your tank a bit better. Really it comes down to those metrics. There is things that may be unique to your particular tank that don't really correspond to this video, and I completely understand that, but feel free to leave a comment if you've tried all those things and you're still not having any luck. But odds are it's those 3 things. One of those 3 things anyway. Leave a comment below, let me know how you balance your tank and what would you like to see in a future video. Subscribe, like, share as always, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later.